Hey guys, and welcome back to the Yogi Blair YouTube channel. Today's video is a request from my dad. So in honor of Father's Day, I put this together for him. Dad, thank you so much for just always being in my corner, reminding me that I am worth everything that I think I am, and nobody has the right to tell me otherwise. Thank you for always just being my best friend, and for all those days roller skating in the park, and just for being the funniest, grooviest guy that I know. So just a couple of announcements before we get started with today's video. I wanted to just thank everybody for the continued support. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for watching. I've had students in my group classes here in Indiana reach out to me and tell me that they're excited about these videos because now they get to take me with them on vacation, and now they get to have me with them in their pocket on their phone whenever they need yoga. I'm really excited that these videos are helping you. Thank you to everybody back in my hometown in Ohio for just the overwhelming support. Even though you guys can't come to my group classes on a regular basis, you're there in my corner, subscribing to my channel, watching my videos, asking for my assistance even though I live far away. So thank you all so much for just the overwhelming support. It's really great to know that I have this amazing group of people backing me up. Just in case you're unaware of a couple things, if you look up in that banner on my channel, the picture of all those yoga mats, you'll see in the corner that there's this little icon. That is a link to my website. Feel free to visit that at any time. There's a link to my group classes if you're local and you want to find my classes. It's always changing. We're always adding things, switching things up. So feel free to take a look at that. There's a link to workshops and events. I will be in Ohio doing a free class in the park when I come into town. This is for all of those that subscribed to the channel when I was asking for support from all of you back home. You were there, you did amazing. So my thank you to you, everybody in Ohio, a free class with me at the park. All I ask for you, you don't have to pay anything, you don't have to sign up. All I ask is that you visit the link there. It will take you to my Facebook and to the event on my Facebook page. Just RSVP there that you'll be there, just so I have an idea of who's coming. There's also a link here in Indiana. I'm doing a workshop on summer solstice, sun salutations. So we're gonna do a sun salutation workshop going over the different sun salutations, proper form, etc. It's also a tie-dye party, and the materials will be included in the cost, which is $20. So on my website, you can find a link to sign up for that if you're here in Indiana, or if you want to make a trip to Indiana for this event. There's also information on my channel where you can contact me if you need to schedule a private yoga session or an event. I think that incorporating yoga into ladies' night, friends' night, bachelorette parties, bridal showers, baby showers, everybody can use yoga. So if you're looking to add something new and fun and something that everybody will enjoy in your next event, give me a call and I would be happy to set something up with you. I also am available to come to businesses if you're a business owner, or if you think that the business you work for would benefit from having a yoga class here and there for employees. I'm available for that as well. So visit my website to see all this information. It's a lot. Feel free to email me at yogiblairfortwayne@gmail.com, and I will be happy to answer any questions. If you're on Facebook and we're friends, feel free to message me if you have any questions or any suggestions or anything that you'd like to see in our next video. Don't forget to continue to subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends, follow me on Instagram, add me on Facebook so that you can see all of the updates and everything going on. So moving on, getting into today's video finally, my dad requested that we do pranayama. Pranayama is breath control, and this is the fourth limb of yoga. Now you may or may not know that there are 8 limbs of yoga. If you think of yoga like a tree, and there are all these different limbs that incorporate this entity of yoga. yoga is not just the asanas or the physical postures. There's so much more to it. Now, that doesn't mean that because you just practice the physical postures that you're wrong, or if you've never done yoga before and this is your first video, that that's wrong. Oftentimes people do teach pranayama after they've taught a group the physical postures so that they're familiar, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that's what you have to do. And if you just do yoga for the physical aspect, that's okay as well. There's no right or wrong way to do yoga. But the fourth limb here is pranayama, breath control. So our first limb are the yamas, the second limb are the niyamas. These two limbs go together to create the yamas and the niyamas, which are basically ethical guidelines to follow in a yoga practice. Yamas and niyamas are restraints and observances. We want to restrain from being violent. We don't want to live a life of excess. And then we move on to the niyamas, which are observances, where we observe the self and learn about ourselves. And then we move into the physical aspect of yoga, the postures, the asanas. And then after that, once you've mastered the postures, then technically you're supposed to move on to pranayama, or breath control. Like I said before, most people find the physical postures first, at least in Western culture. That's how yoga is taught. So it's okay if those things are a little out of order. Today's video is all about pranayama, or breath control. And just be mindful that when we alter the breath, we can experience physical symptoms. We can experience mental symptoms. Breathing does a lot in the body. When we do breath control and when we focus on the breath, it can calm the nervous system, the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous systems. It can slow the heart rate. It can lower blood pressure. It can reduce anxiety, increase focus. But with that, when we get into these more rigorous pranayamas, things can happen in the body, and if you're not prepared for them, they can cause a panic. So just be mindful with this practice that things might start to feel a little weird at some point. It's okay. If you become uncomfortable, just stop doing what you're doing. Turn off the video, come back to it at a later date, or don't come back to it at all. This is your practice. You are in control. So with that, we're gonna start our pranayama practice just by bringing a basic awareness to the breath. So what you want to do here is find a place in your house or your office where you're not going to be disturbed. No phone calls. Turn that phone on do not disturb if you can. If you're at home, make sure you're in a room with the door closed, where the dogs won't be barking, or the children won't be calling, or the spouse won't be in your ear. Just find a place where you can be alone. And what we're gonna do is find a nice tall seat. So if you wanna sit like I am in Sukhasana, you can. You can grab a pillow and sit on that. If you have a yoga block, you can take that and sit on that as well, just to get the hips above the knees so that we can get blood flow here. Nothing's gonna fall asleep. If it's more comfortable to cross the legs, you can. Or if it's more comfortable just to sit the legs out straight in front of you. Whatever you can sit for a long time in is going to be the best posture for you. So finding a good place for the feet, grounding the sits bones either into the earth, into the carpet, into the pillow or the block, stacking the spine nice and long here, but softening the shoulders away from the ears. We can bring our hands down to our sides. Palms can face up if you feel groggy, tired, foggy. If you need to receive energy, place the palms up. If you feel jittery and shaky and nervous, place the palms down to feel grounded. You can have a gentle tuck to your chin, and if and when you feel ready, you can close your eyes. And before we start to alter the breath in any way, I just want you to become aware of the breath. You may notice that rarely in our adult day are we aware of the breath. So just observing, being the observer, noticing if the breath is shallow. Notice if you're breathing into the belly or into the chest. Maybe your breath is deep. Notice if your inhales are shorter or longer than your exhales. Notice if you have a tendency to hold your breath. Just take a couple moments here to observe what's naturally happening in the body, not labeling it good or bad, right or wrong. Just seeing what's here. Then I want you to become aware of just the inhale. Noticing how it feels to fill the lungs, feeling the rib cage expand. And then I want you to notice the exhale as we release all the air out of the lungs, feeling the rib cage settle. And from here we can start to begin to alter the breath by elongating the breath. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the nose, taking deep belly breaths here. Notice the diaphragm as it expands, as the belly fills. The rib cage pulls apart as the lungs fill completely. The collarbones pull apart as the top half of the lungs fill. And exhaling completely, everything settles back. And just take a few rounds of this deep diaphragmatic breath. Starting to steady the breath, starting to deepen the breath. It's no longer shallow and choppy. We're having a nice, smooth, long, deep breath in and out. So now we're going to move into one of the most commonly taught pranayamas. Continuing to breathe as I speak. Our first breath control is called Ujjayi breath. Ujjayi is ocean breath because it creates the sound of the ebb and flow of the waves of the ocean. So we're going to continue to take these nice, long, deep breaths. We're going to continue to breathe in and out of the nose. And what we're going to do is constrict the back of the throat to create an audible sigh on the inhale and the exhale. There's usually a tendency to just do one or the other. We want to create sound with both an inhalation and an exhalation here. Take a few rounds of this with your own pace, your own breath. Our breath is as unique as our fingerprints. No one's breath is the same. Don't try to match my breath. Breathing the natural duration of your deep, long inhales and the natural duration of your exhales. Not trying to force anything to get a longer breath. Not straining here. So with our Ujjayi, we can practice Samavritti, which means equal breathing. Count your inhale, not trying to get the inhale to a certain number, but count the natural duration of your inhale. And then count your exhale. Notice if the numbers are the same. And if they are, continue breathing just as you are. If they're not the same, try to match. So if your inhale is a count of 4, trying to match the exhale to the count of 4. Samavritti can be done with or without the Ujjayi. And for many of us, this is how we begin meditating. This is how we start our mindfulness practice, is by counting the inhale and the exhale. Equal breathing. Notice what happens mentally and physically as you breathe and you count the inhalation and the exhalation. The focus begins to increase. That Ujjayi breath also increases focus and builds heat. You might start to feel a little warm here. Notice the heart rate. Notice the sense of calm you might be feeling. So now we're going to practice Vishamavritti. We're going to gradually increase the inhale. So on your inhale, if you're inhaling for a count of 4 and exhaling for a count of 4, increase your inhale to 5. So we'll inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Keep going. So we've doubled the inhale to twice as long as the exhale. Now it might be easier to not tap into that Ujjayi breath if you've continued to do that. Maybe releasing the Ujjayi and just breathing. Double the inhale. This is another warming breath, building heat in the body. So now let's return to Samavritti, equal breathing, inhaling 2, 3, 4, exhaling 2, 3, 4. Inhaling 2, 3, 4, exhaling 2, 3, 4. Keep breathing as equally as you can. And we're going to move to Viloma 2. Another warming breath. In Viloma 2, let's inhale the natural duration of our inhale. Exhale completely. And on your next inhale, you're going to inhale a third of the way and pause. Inhale the other third of the way and pause. Inhale the last third of the way, pausing at the top before gently exhaling completely. We don't just want to dump the exhale out. We want to gently exhale, gradually exhaling completely before inhaling a third of the way and pause. Inhale another third of the way and pause. Inhale the final third of the way, pausing at the top before exhaling completely. Taking a few rounds of this on your own. After your final exhale, come back to Samavriti. And then we're going to move on to Kapalabhati. Kapalabhati breath is a more advanced pranayama. So if this becomes uncomfortable, please feel free to stop at any time. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see here. Kapalabhati breath is a very rigorous pranayama. It may be helpful for you to bring your hand to the belly here, bring the other hand to the thigh. And what we do here is on the inhale, we fill up the belly just like we've been doing. And on the exhale, we take short bursts of the exhale until we reach the bottom, and then we pause. Then we inhale and repeat. And the goal is to get 30 or so short bursts. You may need to work up to that. We might only get 10 or so to begin with or less. And as we build on our breathing practice, we'll be able to get more into those exhales. So I'm just going to show you because this one's a little harder to explain. And you can repeat that as long as is comfortable. Being mindful here that Kapalabhati breath, if done and you're not comfortable, can cause similar effects as hyperventilation. Pranayamas can be triggering if you've experienced any sort of trauma. So just be mindful if you ever start to feel anything other than calm, to stop. So after your last round of Kapalabhati breath, we can move to Bhastrika breath, which is the same thing without the pause at the bottom. So we inhale, maybe bringing the hands back to the abdomen, taking a nice full inhale, taking those short bursts. Inhaling completely without pause, taking a few rounds of this. You'll notice with these two warming breaths, you may feel more of a noticeable sensation of heat. These build a lot of heat in the body. Taking a few rounds, however, if you want to pause the video and take more rounds of this, you can. And after your last full round, return returning to that Ujjayi breath, Samavritti. Notice if you feel warmer. Notice how you feel mentally, physically. Now we're going to move into some cooling breaths. So we can do Vishamavritti again, but instead of lengthening the inhale, we're going to lengthen the exhale. So let's come back to Samavritti, equal breathing. Let go of the Ujjayi, that is a warming breath. Now we're trying to cool the body. So we're going to inhale all the way, and then we're going to exhale all the way. Counting those inhalations and exhalations again. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Continuing on with your cooling breath. If it's uncomfortable to go to 8, maybe do 3 and 6. After your last round, return to Samavritti. Then let's move to Viloma 1. Inhaling all the way, exhaling all the way. And this time we inhale completely, exhale a third of the way and hold. Exhale another third of the way and hold. Exhale the final third of the way, pausing at the bottom before gently inhaling completely, not drawing in air too quickly. Exhaling a third of the way and hold. Exhale another third of the way and hold. Exhale the last third of the way and hold before gently inhaling completely. And just taking a few rounds of this cooling breath. And eventually making your way back to Samavritti, equal breathing. You can move through this sequence as many times as is comfortable to you. You can finish your practice with a little mindfulness and meditation, counting your inhalations and exhalations. And when you've finished, bringing your hands to the earth beside you. Inhale, lifting the arms up overhead. Exhale, bringing hands to heart center. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. I wish happiness and freedom to all living things, and may the words, thoughts, and actions of my own life contribute in some way to happiness and freedom for all. Thank you so much for participating in this video with me. Namaste.